look at it. Hey guys, Scythe here. I wanted to go ahead and do a little guide on priority system rotation on the Sith marauder. I just wanted to go ahead and share the little tips and tricks with the priorities that I've uncovered. What you're looking at first is charge, deadly saber, your your rage builder, your rupture, your annihilation. This is really the priority, and you see how they have greater than signs. These are your opening rotation. So you're going to charge. You got to get your 3 dots up there. A lot of times to get your 3 dots you need melee, so a rage builder is definitely necessary. Rupture, annihilation, get your rage gun, but this is the priority you're going to be following. They all have cooldowns. Annihilation can reset Rupture's cooldown, but you definitely want to use these as a priority system, not really a rotation. What comes first in order your cooldowns, how everything is going to work for you. So you definitely want your annihilation to be used as much as possible because you'll lower the cooldown on it. That doesn't mean you need to neglect deadly saber and rupture to keep your dots, because your dots are the majority of your damage. Here's the mid-fight priority. Berserk, of course, because you want your dots to be critting. Deadly saber, rupture, annihilation, rage building. Vicious slash and force scream is kind of depending on the target you fight, because certain targets have force shrouds and certain things that force scream's not going to hit, but you also want the flexibility to have a little bit more range when you're fighting somebody. But yeah, like I said, this is a priority system. It takes a lot of playing, a lot of practice. It's not really I can mash this button first, do this, then this. It's exactly what the little sign says, greater than. So you really have to watch. Do I have 3 stacks of Deadly Saber? Do I have my Rupture up? Do I have my Annihilation ready to use on my cooldown? So it's really a combination of everything. This is something that you're going to have to do a lot of practice to really get dialed in. Alright guys, here's some of the basic talents. I just wanted to reiterate this so the priority makes more sense. Deadly Saber is your your next 3 attacks stack a bleed, stacking up to 3 times, 6-second cooldown. This is why you want this up all the time, because you constantly want your 3 debuffs or bleeds to be on them at all times. This empowerment makes your bleeds have a 30% chance to build rage. So that's another reason why you want your bleeds, because it'll build rage for your annihilation, constantly building you rage. That's why you want your 2 rupture and deadly saber up at all times, main priorities. Annihilation, why you want this in your priorities and want to be using it on cooldown, is because it actually lowers its cooldown every time you use it, stacking up to 3 times. So this is really key, and then your bleeds kind of work off this. That's why they're first, because they build rage and, for this major cooldown, because it, of course costs 5 rage, which is a lot. Your stance, of course, increasing your critical strike chance of your bleeds by 15%. This is key because your bleeds heal you and heal your party members. So I wanted to show this to kind of give you a better understanding of how the priority system works. Here's the stat priority: strength, endurance, accuracy, power, crit. Pretty self-explanatory. I put a few little definitions. Alright guys, we've talked about rotation, the lack of or / priority system, and we've talked about stats. Now I wanted to talk to you a little bit about PvP and some other very useful tricks and some little things I picked up along the way. One is deadly throw. Basically, you're going to want to use this when you're going at a healer. They can cleanse this. This will be fixed in 1.2, but it reduces their heals by 20%. This is a really great thing for when you're encountering a healer. The other thing is remember that choke. It's not really a good, it's good, but it's not good in certain circumstances. So you're not going to want to do annihilate into a choke, because you're really just not going to get a lot of damage. So what you're going to want to do is go through your rotation, get your 3 deadly saber dots up and your rupture. Now a lot of times what I like to do is have my berserk active so my dots are getting crits, and then what I'll do is I'll throw them right into a force choke. This will make it a massive amount of damage that they can't avoid. They're not going to be able to cleanse your dots. So I like to get all my dots on them, If I have berserk up, that's, you know, awesome, that's just a bonus. And then throw choke up. So then they're in this, you know, choke that they're just taking massive damage. They're taking that choke damage and they're taking your dot damage. And even if they remove your choke, they're still gonna spend a second or two after that cleansing those dots, or, you know, vice versa. So I really like to set my choke up with the dots into a, you know, dots into a choke. The other thing is you have a few defensive cooldowns. You have Saber Ward, you have Cloak of Pain. A lot of times when I say in Hut Ball, I jump into the middle around the ball stand. I'll just use both of these, reduce a lot of the damage taken. Remember, use Cloak of Pain on cooldown. It's only a minute cooldown, so anytime you're fighting somebody, have this up. Saber Ward, it's really when you're in a massive group of people, go ahead and throw it up, give yourself some more defense, and stay up a little longer. Another thing I really like doing is going into a charge, into a intimidating roar. And a lot of times what you can do is you can find a ball carrier, and like say your team has the ball, you can leap to him and then use your fear and basically peel all the enemies off of him, which is a really good thing. Also, you can also use this buff. I'm referring to it as a buff because it kind of is. It's kind of like a, it's not really a rotation damage ability. It's a consequence ability. So you can use this to actually, if you're fighting multiple people, or there's multiple people around you, you can throw this up, and it will, you know, make sure you're only fighting one person. They can remove this, you know, they can cleanse it, but yeah, it's very good. The other thing is, keep in mind, you can actually give all your teammates 50% increased speed. As of right now, the talent only, if you take the talent in Annihilation, it only gives that extra bonus to you, but I believe they are talking about changing that. I'm not sure, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not 100% on that. But remember, you can give your team an advantage coming out of the gates at Hut Ball with this ability, and I mean, it's really good. Another thing as far as buffs go, is you can actually pop Frenzy. Okay, let's rephrase this. You can actually get a 20, you know, get your Berserk. As soon as you get your Berserk, hit it. You're going to have, your dots are going to start critting, okay? But what you want to do is immediately pop Frenzy into a Bloodthirst. What this is going to do is going to increase all your damage and healing by everybody around you by 15%, and increase your, you know, your damage output. So I like to have my Berserk up, get my dots really critting, then pop Frenzy into a Bloodthirst, and it just makes massive damage. You know, this is just my personal play style, so some of the stuff you may not agree with, some of the stuff you may not like, but try it out, see how you like it. That's pretty much going to cover buffs. I'm in a Void Star right now, and I'll show you a little demo of the rotation, and maybe talk about a little bit in detail, a little bit more. It's a good thing to, when you're starting off your rotation, to go ahead and use a trinkets. You have two of them most of the time, unless you're using Matrix Shards. You can pretty much use these on cooldown. And really, it's just a simple priority. You get your dots up. Let's see if we can get a force choke here. Get all those dots taken. Good thing. Of course, you use your camouflage when you're in trouble, or you're getting tracer missile spammed or something to break that line of sight so they can't hit you. My gear is not fantastic, but you know, I still do pretty good damage with this rotation, this setup, using these buffs like this. It seems to work out very nicely. I really, I mean, it's really, you know, I mean, it's not as hard as a rotation as people are making out. You may have saw that list and you're like, oh crap, this is a ton of information. You know, if I don't do this perfectly, you know, I'm gonna be screwed. You know, it's really not like that. I mean, if you screw up a little bit on this rotation, it's not gonna kill you. Just, I mean, you just have a priority system. I mean, you have to keep your dots going, and keep your rupture on them, and then annihilate and keep building rage. I mean, it's really, a lot of people make it out to be a very complicated system, but yeah, you really don't have to overthink this. You just have to really watch your cooldowns, and it pretty much comes together on its own, and eventually you'll get in a rhythm. See, I'm fixing to get tracer missile spam here. Go into a cloak, pop some defenses. Let's see if I can get this guy. Interrupt that. Through a choke. Probably gonna go down here. Oh, we got it. But yeah, you get the idea. Once you get in a really rhythm of playing this class, it just all comes together. And you'll get where you won't even have to think about the rotation. You automatically know your priorities and how you have your hotkeys set up and what you need to be doing. So yeah, just keep playing with it. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. Practice makes perfect with this class. It's not a class that you're going to be able to just pick up and blow everybody out of the water. You're going to have to practice this priority system, get used to it. And I hope this helped you, you know, out with Marauder class. I know a lot of you may be doing alts or just starting out. Yeah, I'll try and update this video and update maybe another video. The more I learn, I like to try and share it with everybody. I don't like to like hang on to information for a long time. Once I really figure out a class or something, I like to, you know, try and help out other people. So, you know, a lot of it, you know, may be my personal play style with the buffs and how, you know, should be played, but it really works for me, and I don't see a reason why not to share it. Yeah, I'll release another video if I come up with any cool tips or tricks from Marauders, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like if you liked, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Talk to you guys.